Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the grand finals of the Odyssey 2024 season 1. We started back in March and now here we are at the end of May, ready to wrap up the season with two of our best teams that the league has had to offer. And we have a very special cast for you all today watching the stream right now. We have a new addition to the broadcast team today. It's going to be a tri-cast of myself, of Claire, and of Delta. Welcome, Delta, to the casting desk. How are you feeling today ahead of this grand final?
I'm feeling pretty hyped. Normally, it's a tradition that I'm always in the finals, usually as a player. Today, I'm on the casting side. I'm on the casting side of it, and I haven't done this in a while, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
It's going to be fun indeed. And we also have Claire here for us today. Claire, how are we feeling heading into the grand final? It all ends tonight. How are we feeling?
There are just so many emotions, going through the brain right now, but I'm not too sure who to expect because I know we were talking about it quite a bit. Both these teams are quite evenly matched, and Sky Splitters was looking like the best team, but like then Ape comes out and plays extremely competitive series against them. Is that like I have just no idea which direction that this series could even go in.
You always love to have a final where everything is up in the air. You're hoping for a banger series. You're always hoping for 5 games. You want both of these teams to put their blood, sweat, and tears onto the Rift to fight for that victory. This is it's all been building up to, and we're gonna find out who comes on top today, tonight, right here, right now. Let's get into the game number 1 draft to kick it off, ladies and gentlemen.
To come through. I'm curious to see what bans happen in this draft, right? A lot of it's been comfort bans, and this is a series, so we're going to get a lot of different bans as this series progresses, but a very interesting couple of first bans, and the one that I am extremely shocked by is the Xerath.
Yeah, I'm not exactly too sure what the Xerath ban there. The Vigar makes sense. Killshot is in Virtual today, as far as I'm aware. So the Vigar is like really pivotal for their comps, and they're actually going to opt to go for a first pick Ezreal here instead.
Yes, Killshot is in for Ape once again. Remember, their short playoff road to this grand final was a reverse sweep from a technicality against Essence Thieves. They had to forfeit due to some troubles with finding players that first game, and so they were already down from the get-go, but they pulled it together, and thanks to Killshot's Vigar, able to dominate those 2 games and earn their ticket to the grand final. But now we're going to have to see how well they do with that Vigar taken away. And now we see a little bit more of the draft revealed to us. Sky Splitters are taking away the Caitlyn, very strong on this patch, and a Viego for Thrasher. We'll see what the response is on the B2-3 for Ape.
I think they're Rimsey and a Mumu. That could be either in the jungle, depending on how Ape wants to play it. I'm assuming, especially since AP junglers and tanks, got a little bit of a buff. I would imagine we're seeing a Mumu in the jungle, especially with that From pick coming through. I think that's exactly what that's going to be. And I'm curious to see if Sky Splitters wants to finish off their bot lane picks. It would make a lot of sense. Continue to have those 2 just to counter in the 4 to 5 picks. And it is going to be the Nautilus to come through in a very, even bot lane from what I'm seeing. Both having some poke potential, but also just having those engage and
Yeah, I think the support matchup is slightly winning towards the Braum side, but Caitlyn's going to be an absolute menace at all stages of the game. Like, this current meta really favors AD carries that want to build crit and do not really care about attack speed, and Caitlyn is, like, the pinnacle of that. I needed the bit to talk about my way. Sorry, guys.
Yes, Caitlyn is one of the few benefactors in the AD pool from this patch, and sometimes we do think, if we're thinking lane phase, yes, Braum is very effective into Nautilus, but Sky Splitters didn't get counterpicked here. They picked the Nautilus into Braum, so this leads me to believe that they don't care about the fact that the lane might be tougher into the Braum, but they just want that extra engage, and right now They want it just for outside of lane. They have Olaf now that they've just picked on R4, and they have no other real crowd control other than the Nautilus. So right now, a lot of pressure is put on this pick to be that primary engage for Sky Splitters, waiting to see what their mid lane pick will be on R5.
I think we have quite a lot of options here with the Brilliant Soul blinded.
Yeah, it's a dangerous blind pick, and a Kog'Maw comes through.
Kog'Maw mid?
It's wild.
What?
This is insanity. This is probably we're starting off
Caitlyn mid.
the game one. It could be Caitlyn mid. It could be some
be.
first strike lethality Caitlyn stuff. But there's a lot of tanks on Ape, so I don't know. But what a way to kick off game one.
You have to go Kog'Maw mid. It's your only source of AP. And I think if you go Kog'Maw mid, it's actually like really good into Asol as well, because you just play poke. Asol can't really touch you.
Asol can't touch you, and also Garen can't touch you either. That was locked in on B4. So they have Ezreal for range and Amumu with bandage tosses, but the three champions, the last three champions, Braum, Garen, Asol, it's a good point, Delta. They're going to struggle into this AP Kog'Maw.
Wow, okay. It seems like Sky Splitters have pulled out all the stops here. Kog'Maw mid first skin. This was not a pick that was on my radar. All right, I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I'm just kind of excited, especially since Ape has a lot of tanky players. I mean, it's going to be kind of a difficult task for some of Sky Splitters to deal some damage, especially in the early game. I would expect them to just not really want to engage for the time being, and just want to farm out as much as possible. But I think the same goes for Ape. I don't think this early game is going to be very bloody, but again, you just never know, especially in Odyssey.
Especially in Odyssey. That is the key phrase. Especially in Odyssey, we don't know how it'll all go down. The matches are very unpredictable, and sometimes our predictions that we make on the caster desk prior to the game start go out the window, and then we just have to adapt on the fly with how the game is going to turn out. I want to take a note, just looking through the runes before the teams clash for the first time in their lanes as the minions are spawning. Killshot has decided to take the first strike option on Ezreal. First strike was changed a little bit so that it's gives you more gold in the early game, so it's less of a scaling rune. So this could be a very powerful Ezreal, more powerful than we might imagine, at least from the burst side, if he's able to proc that first strike. Yeah, so it's not going press the attack here, which is the standard on the Ezreal. So an interesting adaptation from Killshot in this bot lane when he's playing this pick.
Just hanging out in this bush, looking to maybe get a little bit of a cheese strategy here, especially under the Braum with the hook mix.
It looks like it's just going to be a trade, though. And they're just poking each other out, trying to get a small advantage in the lane, HP advantage as best they can.
Yeah, it's just about even on that trade. Even if the hook hits, you get Braum passive applied afterwards. So your lead isn't like, it's not major at all. It's super minor. I think they're able to capitalize it regardless. I still think it's a good play by Sky Splitters.
Yep, certainly want to get as many of the small advantages as you want. In this bot lane too, Ezreal and Caitlyn fight for priority. They're two champions that almost like to do the same thing in their lane, which is push their opponent in, get tower plates, harass under the tower, and use their range to their advantage. But when they both are high range champions, that's where the skill matchup is birthed from. And it comes down to who can start to play the lane better. It also comes down to the presence of the supports. And right now, Sky Splitter's bot lane has control.
Yeah, it's just a very even early game from what we're seeing. Nothing too crazy. There's a 4k gold lead just from like CS, I believe, especially in the jungle. This Viego is gapping the
heavy trading right now in the mid lane. Kizak has to run and is taken down to 10% HP here. So the Kog'Maw, at the very least, in the first 3 minutes of the lane, looking quite strong against the Asol.
Yeah, what did the Amumu do for like the first 2 levels? How are you down 8 CS so early?
That's a good
Viego
question.
clear speed, I guess. Yeah, that's actually confusing. It looks like from the pathing, Amumu started wolves. The wolf camp is gone, and this was a wolf camp clear down to Krugs. And so very unorthodox pathing from Key, but now Sky Splitters, if we can see on the minimap, have grouped up in the jungle, but Key has just avoided this play altogether. They're going to find nothing.
Yeah, this might spell trouble for the rest of the game. I'm not too sure how exactly he recovers from it.
And Phaser and Smoke now. Okay, so just some summoner spells taken out. Phaser will have no ghost for the next 3 minutes time. We'll see if that ends up turning into any meaningful plays here in the top side as Guilty continues to take control over this mid lane.
Yeah, it seems like I think just the jungle is going to even out. Viejo's getting a back off early. The top scuttle should just go down. And we're in a pretty just even game state for the time being. Nothing really wanting to be flipped quite yet. The Kog'Maw, I mean, we were talking about it earlier, having a pretty easy time just farming in the mid lane. Just top is trading, and Smoke is pretty strong, but Phaser just deals so much damage.
Yeah, Smokes does still have both some, so he's able to look for an all-in, although Thrasher is topside. Both junglers are topside right now. There could be a topside fight, potentially.
Potentially, and once level 6 comes through for Garen, you have access to your ultimate, which executes your opponents from very high HP thresholds, and Phaser has to be very careful once that happens, especially sitting at half HP in the lane already. And then Smoke hits level 6, he has Ignite. This is not a teleport Garen. It's very common for Garen to take Ignite because he has such high kill pressure with his ultimate and that summoner spell. So I'm anticipating something big happening once the level 6 comes online for Smoke, and Phaser's going to have to be super careful when Ignite is up and the ultimate is up as well.
It's very, very quiet throughout the map. We do see Dragon coming up. It's, again, pretty even down in bot lane. Nobody having priority. They are going to be able to push out this wave at least a little bit. For Sky Splitters, I mean, top lane's got some prio, so that could be helpful for when Grubs are up, but a gank might be coming through, but it is just going to fall back. Phaser realizes it's pretty far pushed up, the wave's not coming in anytime soon, so just going to be able to fall back and play protected. And it does seem that Thrasher is starting this first dragon. It should just go over. It doesn't seem that anyone wants to contest it. And everyone's just farming throughout the map.
Yeah, it's going to be a trade of objectives here for both junglers. Kyo is opting to go Grubs here, while Thrasher, with the help of Kyo, is opting to go for Dragon here, so just a little bit of a trade. I think both teams, again, like, it might just be nerves, but both teams opting to just trade objectives, not fight each other for the moment.
And for Ape, they don't have great side lane champions, and what I mean by that is Aso will like to migrate to the side lane later, but he's not a split push champion. Garen's not necessarily a split push. Actually, Garen can split push pretty well. So the Grubs can be valuable up there for Smoke, as he'll benefit from that extra tower damage. But now take a look. Here we go for the very first major play of the game. Key looking for the gank onto the Olaf, and that's going to be the easy ultimate. It's a super clean dive, super easy. There's almost no counterplay for Phaser there, no CC to stop what was coming, and he wasn't expecting it after the Grub take. First blood will go the way of Ape. Excellent tower dive. Gets Smoke an advantage up there.
That's exactly what you need to see. Smoke, we were saying, has that Ignite. Can definitely all in there. And, I mean, it's a perfect play.
Looking for a response of their own, though. Here we go. Ape is getting dove underneath their bot lane tower. Thrasher using the Heartbreaker is going to get away. It's a trade 1-for-1. Revenger able to take out Kyo here. But now the next person on the menu is going to be Revenger. Puts up an unbreakable shield, but here comes Key, and Thrasher is going to drop low. The Amumu to the rescue. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Ape in this exchange. Keyzak falling very low in the mid lane, but able to dodge away from this one. 3-1 Ape on the top of the ladder right now in this early game.
Wow. I really have no words to describe that. Like, he immediately, after that top play, he took his base, and then he just immediately booked it bot. Like, he knew Thrasher was the only play, since he was on bot side, was just to dive bot. So, immediately booked it there, was there for the counter, and they're able to turn it around and come out ahead.
Extremely well played, especially on that bot dive. I mean, that's exactly what you need to see. Ape is looking pretty strong, and it doesn't seem that playing in this bot lane Killshot is having a good
Killshot.
time, but might be
Bit
a bit
overextended
far
now.
up.
Does not have any summoner spells. This should be a kill, but Revenger is on the way and does have access to the Glacial Fissure. The Arcane Shift will come through and will buy some space for Killshot. Now Thrasher's getting very low, down to half HP, but Ronnie World has joined the play, using the traps to try and cut off Revenger's escape, but Key has joined the play as well. Curse of the Sad Mummy's available, and it goes on to 3! Absolutely massive play from the Ape jungler, and they're turning around this gank. Once again, the counter ganks from the jungler are so huge. They get 3 for 0. 6-1 now. Ape is on a roll, looking fantastic in game 1 of this grand final.
Ape is looking so nice just throughout the map,
gosh.
especially in the jungle. I mean, that's exactly what you need to see. It's looking so good for Key.
I'm gonna have to bring it back to a bit of history. The last time Key and Thrasher met
Smoke,
in the
smoke,
finals,
smoke, ultimate. That's
wow.
what we're talking about. So strong is Garen in the 1v1. Key now on the invade here on the blue side actually smites away the blue buff, so Ape continues to take W's all across the map. Key going back in with the bandage toss. Keo is here for the help, misses out on the dredge line. The gravity well will come down, but that's going to be the end of that play. But look at the wave denial for Smoke, so far ahead in this top side.
Just loving how Key's just running around the map, just causing issues everywhere. Might be down a little bit in CS. You have all of your top camps up, and you're just running around, just causing Thrasher some issues. I think that's extremely funny.
Yeah, absolute like destruction from Ape this first game so far. Just these first 10 minutes. And I gotta bring it back to a bit of history before I was interrupted there. The last time Key and Thrasher met in the finals, Key has had the upper hand on him, like for a lot of these games in the early game as well. I think Key's pathing is like really smart. He's a really hard player to predict. So seeing him being able to play jungle again, it's like, it's art.
It's art. He's been able to read Thrasher's plays relatively well. There have been windows for Sky Splitters to get those kills that they wanted from their ganks, but they aren't able to find the kills in time, and Key is able to thwart their plays and make it beneficial for Ape. So right now, they're going to have to try, Sky Splitters, to play through this frustration that they're feeling, as now we see an engage in the mid lane. Keyzak goes straight in for the 1v1 and actually finds that the trade should come through for Keo. Gonna try and give the kill to Kog'Maw in the passive, but is going to be unsuccessful here. Key is here for the contest on the grubs, but it is 3v2 for the moment. Revenger is walking up. We look on our minimap, we see some trading in bot lane, but this is definitely going to be a grub fight to break out. The way both of these teams are posturing, there is one left. And will the Ape team go for this contest? They will. Curse of the Sad Mummy onto 2, but the Ragnarok will break the CC, but the priority is 1, and the denial of the 3 grubs on this play will come through.
And it's a little bit interrupted there. We have no idea what's going on, but we're back. And yeah, they did getting those 4 grubs, so that sides push, the split push is going to be absolutely huge. I mean, you need to watch out for Smoke. Already up 2 kills, up some CS, and having that and another all-in.
Oh my gosh,
just cost
he's gonna find it.
Another one?
He is.
Another
insane. The Garen is so OP in this matchup.
I mean, now you got to be asking yourselves, if even Phaser cannot be dealing with this Garen, who is going to be dealing with the Garen, especially on that side lane, especially just, taking down those towers incredibly quickly. And you can already see he's gotten 4 plates. He's going to take down this tower here. This Garen is an absolute raid boss and needs to be shut down.
Yeah, the real question is who's going to deal with him. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't really have tools on Sky Splitter's side to like really deal with him. If you try force a fight, Garen's going to be there as well, and he's just going to run over your backline. Like Kog'Maw, Caitlyn, they're not going to run away from Garen.
They can't. Too slow.
They can run. Caitlyn can maybe kite, but Kog'Maw, as a poke champion, won't have, at least in a 1-versus-1 situation, the damage to deal with a Garen. Viego, who's 0-2 right now, won't have the tools to beat a Garen. So one-on-one, Garen's going to beat everybody. And Olaf usually likes the 1v1 scenarios in the top lane. He wants to run down his opponent and beat them to death, but Garen just says, okay, I'm going to press Q, I'm going to press R, ignite to your face, and then there's going to go your HP bar. While I was ranting about that matchup, the Hextech Drake was taken. So Sky Splitters, the real only thing going for them at the moment is the 2 dragons in their back pocket, and they are going to pray that later down in this game, they can find themselves a soul, if it's possible.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised the Sky Splitters even got that dragon off. They had or I mean, so many A players were just down in the bot side. You could see Olaf top side just wanting to free farm that tower.
Try brush. Here we go. Braum with the Glacial Fissure onto Keo, and Key is here. Now we also have a play in the mid lane as well. This A-Soul says, you can't counter me. I'm going to solo kill you twice, but here comes a teleport. It's going to be Phaser to join the play and try and make this one a win here for Sky Splitters, able to get it 1-4-1. And this Olaf is unleashed now. There is no Garen here to protect the Ape team, and now Key is going to be run down. Ace in the hole will come through, but I think he's taking enough to get out of this one, but an excellent TP from Phaser will bring this play back for Sky Splitters.
It was, and I mean, it was worth it. Like, I guess on the kill feed for Sky Splitters, that they got 2 kills, but they invested so much. They invested that TP from Phaser, and they just like stood there for so long. And you can see just like the pain that that's causing into the top lane. Mid lane wasn't being guarded, so I mean, Smoke got some more damage onto that mid turret, and now you can see that pathing top lane. You want to get onto that neutral objective, but now Key is in the bot lane.
Smoke, and Smoke actually can die here. Doesn't have flash. Used it in the earlier plays, and Guilty Free Soul is going to be the one to try and finish it off, and that's going to be the case. They get a shutdown. This is really good for Sky Splitters, and they also will be able to get the Herald off this, unless Ape tries to contest, but I don't think they're going to do it 4 versus 3.
Yeah, it seems like they're just gonna call it off. They don't have vision, they're not really able to walk in so far. So they're just gonna see what they can do. Just push out waves mid-bot.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Get the value where you can find it. Phaser should be getting this top tier 1. It should go down. Top lane is slowly evening out, especially with that kill on 2 Smoke. But, I mean, it's still quite a bit advantage here for Ape, but that door is closing. You can just see Ace in the hole not dealing too much damage yet, and Keith might be getting a bit creative, but
for a flank. Well, Revenger was behind him, and he said, all right, fine, I won't go for this play. You got a Braum on my tail. And I don't want it to go south like the last few plays have gone. However, Key, waiting in the lane, sweeping out the vision. That ward in that middle brush is right about to expire. And Key may just move into this brush right as it does. Didn't spot it out with the sweeper. Kill shot is pretty low, down to 30%, and oh no. Phaser, you are in for a world of hurt. Smoke is going to spin to win, and then drop the hammer, or I should say the sword, on your forehead. There it is. It doesn't finish him off right away, but Smoke gets another solo kill, is the solo kill king of this game.
Yeah, that top lane is a massive problem. I feel like, I mean, that's just their way to win this game. Thank God that wave was pushed out so far in top lane, but you can just see Smoke just should be going into that jungle, probably just grabbing red buff, and maybe could be pinched on by this Kog'Maw Viego, but I don't think they know.
There goes the bandage toss, the immediate TP as well. This is an all-in play from Ape. I don't think the TP was necessary, but maybe it was to get this kill here onto Keo, and they're going to be able to do it. 2 kills and most likely a bot lane tower as well for Ape. Excellent play.
The cross map plays Ape is making is just succeeding for them so much. And they aren't really getting any objectives off of it, but I mean, they got that tower, but they're getting so much pressure. They're just forcing in these waves all of the time. They're causing them just to come back, and they're just having so much more map presence than Sky Splitters. It's costing them so much.
Yeah, and I think this is the sort of game that Ape really excels at. They like causing chaos across the map, especially with like TP plays, and in a game state like this where Smoke is really far ahead, you just let him go sideline, and then you play 4v5s as best as you can, and then you just cause chaos across the map, right? Sky Splitters has to make the decision, like, do you go stop Garen, or do you fight the 5v4?
And it's not an easy decision to make. When you're in this position, it's so hard. Phaser, I hate to say it, but you do have Ghost. Gonna pop Ragnarok for some speed, but look how fast Smoke is. He's keeping right up with you. He doesn't need a Ghost to chase you down. Thrasher has found Revenger trying to get some vision here in the river, forced to use the flash to get away. Ace in the hole will chip his HP bar, but the person in real trouble right now is Phaser, trying to run for his life away from the big man of Demacia with the big sword. The Stride Breaker hits, exactly, and he doesn't even need the ultimate, just spins to win and gets the solo kill, but can he get back bot in time for this play? Remember, it's Sky Splitters on 2 dragons. They want this dragon stacking to continue for them, but they also don't want Ape to come in and steal this. Key is right in range, looking for the Curse of the Sad Mummy. Isn't going to use it quite yet. The second bandage toss will go through, and that will be it. Ace Soul drops a massive star. destruction on the river, and now priority is here for Ape. They use their wallets. They slap them onto the faces of Sky Splitters. They win the fight. They're chasing down the rest of the kills. Ronnie World and Guilty Free Soul trying to do enough damage to kill that dragon. They're going to be able to do so, but the fight will still go the way of Ape plus the dragon. The stacking is denied, and it is now in a state of Armageddon for Sky Splitters.
Sky Splitters is looking rough every passing minute. They're just getting weaker, or I suppose Ape is just getting so much stronger. They're outpacing them everywhere. They just want to constantly take fights, and they're not afraid to do so. They know they have so big of a lead, and they're just using it to their advantage so well.
Yeah, this is the game that Ape loves, causing chaos across the map. There's absolutely nothing you can do when they're forcing 5 plays at once.
It's everything. Everyone's constantly like, all right, we're calling it. We're going to go smoke, go kill this Olaf, and then we're going to go to Dragon, and then we're going to go to the other objective. And then they're constantly just causing pressure that Sky Splitters just doesn't know where to look. They don't know where to put their players. Everything is happening too quick.
We're at a point in the game where if Ape plays this correctly, there will be no possible play for Sky Splitters to come back. They are going to have to rely on Ape making critical mistakes here in this game, forcing unnecessary fights, taking fights that they don't have numbers advantages in. It's nice that they got the mid tower with the Rift Herald. That's something for them. And the mid tower should be the next objective for Ape to open up the map. And we were talking about how easily they can find fights. They can run all over the map with their priority and extend their lead further. And when that mid lane tower drops, they have easy access into their opponent's jungle. So that should be the next game plan for Ape. And Sky Splitters should try and pool all their resources into keeping that tower alive as their rock.
It seems they're doing so. They're positioning just their bot lane of this Caitlyn, Nautilus in the mid lane, but now it is just going to be Ronnie World, and I don't think that's enough to defend this one. But you can see the spot lane are just coming up. They're positioning. They're looking maybe for an engage from Sky Splitters, but I feel like it's just they know that it's so dangerous. Because if it does go wrong, then I mean their game is just screwed. Even more so than it already is.
Yeah, Ape has really fast rotations to Baron, and with Baron being up, that poses another threat. And again, like, you just play sides. You play through the Garen. You cause chaos.
Oh my goodness.
Seems like he's looking for the fight.
So much damage. The first strike, Ezreal, does half of Caitlyn's HP. Now a fight will break out outside the mid lane tower. Smoke is in the front line. Guilty Free Soul will chunk a little bit of his health. Now the entirety of both teams are here, except for Kizak, and they're just going to back off. So the tower stays alive, but the resets have to come through for the bot lane of Sky Splitters. I think this mid lane tower doesn't have much longer for this world.
Yeah, you would imagine it goes down here in the next couple of waves. Look at the Amumu posturing. Having to clear the ward, but, I mean, could go for just a dive onto the Caitlyn. You can soak up so much tower damage, especially if you're just juggling that back and forth with the Brum. Oh, that's the flash. That's so big, especially for the
what in the world? What in the Ronnie world? And
Ronnie?
Actually gets out alive? Are you kidding me? 1 HP.
No,
This
wait,
is
the Smudge didn't kill him?
calculated. And now they've all overextended. What has gone? This is a perfect play so far. Now Guilty Free Soul is on the flank. He's going to run low. He hits the bandage touch, hits the curse of the sad mummy, but there's simply no follow-up. Thrasher's killed Revenger. This is a throw for the sentry right now, ladies and gentlemen. Miscalculation, and Sky Splitters could just go straight to the Baron after this and get right back in the game.
Oh, what a tragedy for Ape. Killshot playing so aggressive, tries to land a bunch of damage onto Ronnie. Key burning the flash on the side. It's a bit of an overcommit from the rest of the team. You can't be diving between 2 towers like that.
It's incredibly dangerous, and the Baron going down now. It should just be looking all up for Sky Splitters. You can see Garen, trying to get some pity gold, I suppose, by getting that mid tower. That does open the map quite a bit for them, and it does help them get some priority for this dragon fight. But, I mean, it should just be able to get or gotten right back from Sky Splitters with this Baron buff. They have it on every single member, so their side lane presence, their mid lane presence, and their ability to just push down some of these, tier 2, tier 1 towers that are still standing, it helps them out so much.
It helps them out so much, and that play was the exact play Sky Splitters were hoping for. A play that should have worked for Ape. That should have been a clean kill under the tower that would lead to a pick and maybe them starting the Baron. But it goes wrong. Ronnie World lives with 1 HP, and then it spirals into a massive misplay. And that is all Sky Splitters were hoping for, was a massive misplay from Ape. And now they have the tools to contest this dragon. They want it. They want the soul point. They want that soul win condition. Revenger's going to be forced to flash away. Fortunately for Ape, he is going to be able to take this, but with no flash, has no way out of the pit. Uses the curse of the side, bumping out to Thrasher, who's extended too far forward. They got him over the wall, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 for both teams. Now over the wall goes Killshot. My goodness, my friends, so aggressive and is going to pay for it. 2-for-1 now. Do they continue this fight? Kyo on the Nautilus drops the ultimate onto the Braum, hits the dredge line. They're following it up. Remember, no flash from earlier. Tries to hop away to a minion. This Braum is tanky, but is he tanky enough? It looks like he could be, but the dredge line's coming off a cooldown, but it doesn't even matter because Guilty Free Soul will be able to get that kill. Phaser pushing up in the bot lane. Could look for a dive onto the A-Soul. Not going to do so. The Drake goes the way of Ape, but the fight will go to Sky Splitters.
Sky Splitters slowly but surely getting back into this game. Their team fights are looking so much stronger. This everyone, getting those more and more items, especially this Kog'Maw. I mean, that's a lot of your damage, especially under these tanky members, such as the Amumu and the Garen and to the Braum. That's absolutely massive. Say goodbye to that tower, but Kizak has been holding it. I'm curious to see just how strong, how many stacks.
Phaser's going to get hit. Bandage Toss will land, but this is an Olaf and an Amumu. Should be okay. 2-level advantage. No one there for follow-up. Phaser's going to walk out.
Yeah, do we know how many stacks this A-Soul has? Is that info we can?
Hey, production. Production, we would like
nobody
to know.
knows. No one knows. Maybe
no,
zero.
No, if production
it's
doesn't know,
zero.
no one knows. Okay. Sorry, guys, we can't give you the update currently, but assume A-Soul has a lot.
I would have to assume it's around.
Somewhere between none and a lot.
At least one.
Yeah.
Maybe that though.
At least 0. I think we can say A-Soul has at least 0.
A lot of stacks. Yes, exactly.
Yes. Thank you, Sia.
A-Soul has a lot of stacks, but let's dial it back. How incredible has this comeback been for Sky Splitters? The gold is dead even. Right now, Ape is kicking themselves saying, why did this have to happen? Why did we have such a free game in the palm of our hands slip away so quickly? We're going to see a 1v1 now, and Smoke has been the one to typically win this one out, but now this time it's Phaser putting up a good fight, but he has to respect the ultimate. The ultimate will execute you from 30% HP. Smoke just needs about one more Q. Gonna try and go for the kill, but this time Phaser is gonna win this one out. Key has no damage. He can't kill. Oh my goodness, the axe will run right through him and find the kill, and Key now runs for his life. The Amumu can do nothing against this angry Viking. He is so upset about the solo kills from before. He is on a rampage. Now in the bot lane, it's Sky Splitters looking to put Ape to bed in game number 1. The trap damage is insane. Ronnie World does so much damage with that Infinity Edge completed. They're winning the bot side fight. They're winning the top side fight. Guilty Free Souls pushing in mid. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a potential comeback for the ages on the cards for game number 1. The siege will continue in the bot side. Flash forward from Killshot. Tries to kill Ronnie World. Oh my goodness, gets the kill, but it's going to be a trade. It's still going to be good for Sky Splitters. Inhibitor turret under siege. They're still continuing the pressure. Oh my goodness, action all across the map, but Sky Splitters have done it. They haven't done it yet, but they are so close now to pulling off this incredible comeback.
When their backs are against the wall and the lights shine the brightest, Sky Splitters have come out to play, man.
They have. I mean, the fights, they're starting to win them. You can see just how strong this Olaf is. Nobody can really kill him quite yet. I guess the A-Soul's the person that needs to deal the damage, or like a substantial amount of it, but you mean that they weren't there. They got absolutely destroyed in the bot lane. It's a lot of these fights, swinging in the way of Sky Splitters, and I'm just on the edge of my seat. We see both of these objectives coming up in about a minute's time, so maybe they would because it isn't, not Soul Point yet, but maybe we can go for a trade here, but I don't think any of these teams would like to do that, but just because it's so even.
I think once this Baron spawns, it has 38 seconds until it joins us on the Rift. This will be the critical mass of this game. Like you said, Claire, it's not Seoul being threatened by either of these teams. Two dragons at peace. So where the real power will come from and the real objective that will give these teams that extra push to be able to come out on top in game one will be this Baron. And both of them will be here for the contest. I can assure you of it. And the way that these team fights have been going this whole game, I expect us to be in for quite the banger of a fight. But we're going to have to wait to see where they go to next, because now the dragon is live, but the Baron is also going to be live. There could be a trade happening. Oh my goodness. Ape, do not fall for this play. Do not take the free dragon, because this could be a free Baron that Sky Splitters are taking. They're falling for the bait. They're making a major mistake. Soul point for Baron is not worth it, my friends. Oh my goodness, they're going to send a True Shot Barrage down range, but this is free Baron for Sky Splitters.
Just get in, get out, and immediately it happened. You can see them posturing over towards that top lane, and they might just be able to threaten opening up this base even more so than it already is. Get that inhibitor tower down, and look how many members are in that top side jungle, and only 2 are coming to challenge them. Now we're seeing the backs come through, but it might just be too little too late. There might be too big of a wave to deal with.
Theo is stepping so far forward. This Nautilus does not care who is standing in front of him. But now he does, because that's quite a lot of people. But here comes a massive Ace-Soul ultimate.
Here it goes.
World has been hit by the Garen. He's going to use the ultimate on the kills. Ace-Soul, who does not quite have the damage to finish it off. It's 2 kills. That's going to go the way of Ape. Is there a response play on the other side of the map for Sky Splitters? The passive of the Kog'Maw will finish off the Garen. And Keo is running.
They got mid-inhib.
Got mid-inhib. That's true. They continue the siege on the bot tower. They're going to get it. Are they going to back off? It looks like that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I think at this point, both of your range carries are dead. You don't really have much more, because Ape's going to be able to defend. They just have faster rotation, since it's their base. That'd be kind of weird if they didn't. So yeah, I think you just call it off. You reset, do camps, and then when you regroup, you try for a fight again.
Try for a fight. You're very close to finishing this one off, but it's still anybody's game. Ape can still find a favorable fight and hit the reset button on what has been their downward spiral over the past 10 or so minutes. It's going to still be a very close game. They have the potential. They do have an Amumu who has a credible team fighting ultimate. Combine it with an Aurelion Soul as well. It could still be massive for them. I do believe, though, the split pressure from Sky Splitters is a way to avoid the monstrosity of a team fight that Ape has. As long as Phaser's winning against Smoke in that top side, as long as they apply split pressure, I think they can avoid a disaster team fight. But we're going to have to see. Phaser is in a little bit of a tough position, and Smoke is trying to run this one down, but he's down 2 levels. He did force the Ragnarok.
Oh.
Not a bad trade.
Also pop the Ghost as well. I don't know if that was needed. I think you just pop the Ragnarok and you can just walk away with the silence after you throw an axe and slow him. But that's the Ghost down for Olaf.
They're being very aggressive here. They want to try and like push open some of this base with the rest of their Baron buff, but I might be a little bit too aggressive. We saw how it went last time. Aesol, I don't think, has the skies to send, so...
Smoke wants the fight. This has been a tale as old as just this game, because Smoke and Phaser have gone at it so many times, and both players have come out on top. They're going to run away for the moment. So much tension building around these pushes. It's Guilty Free Soul in the mid lane. It's 3 people strong. Thrasher, Keo, and Ronnie World. Those grubs that they have in their back pocket doing a little bit of extra work. That tower almost falls. The rest of Ape get there just in time to stop it from happening. But look at the top lane now. That's going to be the tower down. Phaser is chopping down this inhibitor like it's a tree with those axes. And the pressure is mounting here. That's 2 inhibitors now. Could potentially be 3 coming up.
I don't know if we have Skies to send on Aesol, but I think you have to go for a fight here.
Smoke's going to use the movement speed, going to jump onto the Olaf, who does a lot of damage, is able to return a lot, but this Olaf does have to be careful. That ultimate is still available for Garen and could use it to execute him from low HP, but at the very least, they're getting the triple inhib now. The Sky Splitter's comeback story is very real in this moment. Killshot uses the arcane shift forward to try and chase down the rest of Sky Splitters, who are desperately looking for a disengage. They've got what they wanted, and now all it takes is one more push, but there's the flash from Key. Finds the bandage toss onto Guilty Free Soul, who's now running away. The Curse of the Sad Mummy will come through, and that will be the pick. They get the kill on Kog'Maw, but I don't know if it's really enough. They can't really get a whole lot for this.
Yeah, it is just going to be a kill. The Kog'Maw should be up in time for both objectives, having about a 15-minute window between them, but I think Sky Splitters is more than happy with what they got. At least somebody needs to be in their base. And I mean, we do see that Phaser having that TP up could always attempt for a backdoor if a wave gets deep enough. And Guilty Free Soul also, but I mean, I highly doubt the Kog'Maw would like to go for a play like that. But yeah, I mean, they just got so much pressure. They got so many inhibs. They got so much out of that push that they're going to be happy with. You can see Phaser just trying to chop down that blue buff, and it should just reset. And she should just go your merry way. And yeah, this fight needing to break around this dragon, but I'm concerned for Ape. They're not really posturing towards it. They have no vision there. Their waves are getting pushed into their base. It's just a rough scenario for them to be in.
And now is the time for Sky Splitters. They're gonna take a break here to grab the dragon, but when there's 3 inhibitors down, now is the time for you to put your foot on the gas pedal and push to end this game, because 6 super minions piling into the base at one time, each and every wave nonstop for 5 minutes straight, is pressure that almost no team comp that you can assemble can handle. So they have to go for this right now. They could play out for the Baron up in 40 seconds as we see heavy trading onto Key. Oh my god!
Oh my goodness!
Insane damage from Guilty Free Soul. I was caught up in talking all the macro, but if your Kog'Maw can just barf all over the enemy jungler and take that kill, that's exactly what you want. Now 4 versus 5, they're saying to hell with the Baron. Let's just go win this game.
Yeah. That's exactly what they need to do. They're trying to push this wave down, not being able to do so. I mean, we were talking about just the waves being pushed in. If there's a champion to deal with that, it's just got to be the Acel. I mean, not only are you can deal with it so easily, but you're also just going to continuously get stronger with those minions going down. And yeah, they're just falling off. They realize it's not the fight they want to take, not enough dead. They have a free Baron. They're just going to do it and just wait a little bit longer to finish this game.
Yep, and that's going to be Baron over the Sky Splitters. They're going to opt to take their reset, buy their final items, possibly elixirs on some of their champions, and then they're going to run it down. I think you just fight. Sky's Descent is up on Acel. That is something you do want to keep in mind, but flashes are up on every single member on Sky Splitters.
And importantly, the inhibitor has respawned for Ape, but I do believe that once the siege begins, there's pressure in bot, there's pressure in top. That inhibitor is going to fall very quickly to the damage output from Sky Splitters, and we're just going to be put at Ape is just going to be put through the triple inhib meat grinder unless they can find a play like this one that they're looking for right now. If I'm Kizak, I'm moving over to the mid lane right now to try and find a combo with Curse of the Sad Mummy and the Sky's Descent. That's pretty much their only hope here, because if they don't find that combo, a lot of the power of their comp is gone. They don't have a lot of burst outside of that. They have to hit skill shots with Ezreal, but look at all the minions. It's impossible for Ezreal to do DPS if everyone's standing behind them. They're respecting Key though. Key is getting a lot of respect from the Sky Splitters players, but they're just poking him out. Now he's down to 40% HP. The inhibitor drops really quickly. This is the final fight of the game, most likely. Unless Ape can pull off a miracle, their final push will go for it. Sky's Ascent goes down, but it only goes down onto Phaser, who still has access to the Ragnarok, but chooses not to use it. Revenger trying to take up in the front line for his team. This first Nexus turret will fall just to the minions. The siege will continue. They're playing this patiently. They're playing this correctly. They don't want to give any opportunity for Ape to come back in this game. They're not going to make the same mistake their opponents made 10 minutes ago. This fight so close to starting off. The first bandage toss goes wide. Now the next set of super minions will crash underneath the last Nexus turret that is remaining. The fight will begin. The Glacial Fisher comes through, but Phaser is tanking. He's a tough Viking. He can take it. Takes the Ragnarok, a 4-person Curse of the Sad Mummy, but there's simply no follow-up. Right now it's a 1-for-1, but the super minions and the Baron empowered minions are piling through the base. The second Nexus turret falls. The Nexus is following as well. Ronnie World just focusing in on the prize. Game 1 will go the way of Sky Splitters, and an excellent comeback.
A fantastic comeback out of Sky Splitters, looking so strong into that end game and just taking every single advantage, especially after that middle of the tower's dive, getting that Baron, and it completely turned their game around. What a performance out of this team.
Yeah, and when the lights shine the brightest, you can never count Sky Splitters out. Probably one of the best comebacks we've seen this season. That last fight, super close on being able to land the Sky's Ascent, burning all the flashes, and then the 4-man Mummy Curse. It just wasn't enough.
Simply wasn't enough. Wasn't enough follow-up. And Ape did have the better of Sky Splitters in the regular season, and we thought that trend would continue, but Sky Splitters didn't give up. They kept their heads in it, and they were able to pull off the miraculous comeback for a Game 1 victory. Now, this is a best of 5. There are still lots of games to play, and Game 1 is now complete. We will head to a very short break between games, but we will be right back with more action from this series. So don't go anywhere. Hold on tight. We'll be right back with game number 2 in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. Revealed to us there, but we're back. We're ready for the draft. What an absolute banger game that was to kick us off in this grand final between Sky Splitters and Ape. An insane comeback. It really has set the tone for what this series could be. We want 4 more games of that, please, and that would be quite the grand final to remember. But into this game, let's talk draft adaptations. Delta, what are we thinking that is anything going to change for Ape in this game? They did decide to go for red side this time, which Sky Splitters had last time around. As losers, they chose the side that they wanted, and it was red side. But is there any changes in mind that you think Ape might go for in this game, or will they just run it back and say, let's just polish up our gameplay?
There's a very good chance they run it back. I think the only adaptation I would say is just not blinding Acel. Even though Key's X landing phase was really good on Acel into what is arguably a bad matchup into AP Kog'Maw mid, I think blinding the Acel when mid counter pick is still open is really risky. It opens yourself up to a lot of counter picks. I personally was expecting a call the R5 from Sky Splitters, but that didn't happen. We saw Kog'Maw mid. Historic first, by the way, for Odyssey. So congrats Guilty for being the first player to play Kog'Maw mid. Outside of that, I think you run relatively the same draft otherwise. Although those picks are generally comfort for those players, so I don't see a reason why they would sway away from that. Anyways, bans are being shown.
It's
and
the same bans.
yeah. Yeah, they want to run it back, it looks like. And well, okay. Caitlyn first pick. Yeah, that's kind of indicative of just running it back again. Sky Splitter's opting to go for that. And I think I said everything I needed to about Caitlyn in the last game, but I guess I'll say it again. 14.10. Crit items really strong. AD carries that want to build crit but do not rely on attack speed are really important.
But a Victor comes through, and that should just be what Ape is looking for in the mid lane instead of that Aesol, but also a crazy blind.
Indeed, and it's another late game mage for Ape as well. They blinded the Aesol last game. They're going to blind Victor. They're comfortable with putting Kizak in potentially unfavorable matchups, and Kizak, like Delta said, did well in the previous game. So again, they just look like they don't think there was a flaw there, and if they just polish up the gameplay a little bit, everything will go nicely for them. Hold on a second, though.
Hold on.
But now with this blue side, pick 2 and pick 3, Thresh and Morgana, 2 traditional support champions, have been played. I believe this will be some type of Morgana mid or Morgana jungle. So Sky Splitters have been cooking up something within their kitchen here. And also, there's also a Hui here on R3 for Ape. So this is 2 mid laners being picked. You would think, oh, maybe it's going to be Hui support, but they also have the Nautilus pick. So potential mage bot angle for Killshot.
Or is that Hui bot?
It's Hui bot.
I have a good feeling that might be Hui bot. I also want to quickly give a shout out to Kyo getting his Thresh. It's his best champion. So best of luck. Best of luck. He's gonna do amazing things. Snap and a flash, and magic will happen.
Looking forward to seeing that. I think we've seen Kyo on Thresh before? A couple of weeks ago, maybe. So I'm excited to see it yet again, but still getting into the rest of this draft, we still have that top and jungle for Ape, and then just like top, I guess. Also jungle or mid, depending on where that Morgana would like to go.
But critically for Sky Splitters, they had enough of that Garen. They said, we're not dealing with that again. Phaser might be saying it to them. They might be making that decision as a team collectively. The Garen gave them trouble in the top lane earlier on. So this time around, they're not playing against that again. Kindred's going to come through on R4 for Ape. And again, this is likely going to be mage bot. Is it going to be Victor? Is it going to be Hui? We've yet to find out. There's lots of magic damage in this game with these walk-ins. My goodness. It's going to be a solo AD Caitlyn. So Sky Splitters are going to hope that Ronnie World starts to get really strong, because if that's the case, then Ape is going to be in a very difficult position defensively when they're looking at defensive items. They might think, okay, we should build some magic resist because they're full MR, but wait a second, there's a Fed Caitlyn. But they, there we go. That's the Olaf into the Mordekaiser. A lot better matchup, but this time around, it's the reverse. It's going to be Smoke taking the Olaf into the top lane and going to be giving Phaser a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah, what I'm most scared about for the Sky Splitters draft is the optimization of Merc Treads for Ape. Olaf builds it, Nautilus builds it. I think even some of the AP champions can build it. And I think if Kindred wants to build it, you can. Like, you just build Merc Treads on the entire side, and then like all of the magic damage and the pick potential you have is just kind of gone. All you really have to do is just kill Caitlyn. Although you don't really have the tools to do that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they play this game. Olaf can't really come in. Olaf can't really run into the middle of the team because he actually gets Mordekaiser ulted on this patch. It just doesn't work anymore. So we'll have to see.
But I mean, immediately just diving into this game, it's going to be that Morgana jungle, Vel'Koz mid, and I mean, Vel'Koz did definitely get a substantial buff with just the Blackfire Torch being implemented into the game. So I've seen some Vel'Koz gameplay on this patch. It's looked pretty solid, I guess, and it's going to be a Victor ADC and then Hui mid also, which is very surprising and not at all what I thought we were going to see.
It's not what I thought we were going to see before we saw the picks, but Killshot excelled on the Vygar. It could just be that this player is very good at mages, very comfortable in that role. And there's nothing wrong with Mage Bot. It works, so a nice change here for Ape. We'll see how well it pays off. I also want to give a shout out, Anna. we know you're going to show up with the Hui hate group comments the second a Hui is locked in. So welcome back to the chat room, Anna Gamer Girl. She just spawns right in when a Hui is locked in, ready for those messages on site. The hate for Hui continues. Not the support this time, not in the support role where the hatred began, but in the mid lane, it's still keeping that same energy. We'll see how well Kizak can do on this champion. A lack of frontline for Ape as well in this game could pose a problem against a very peel back composition that Sky Splitters have drafted with Vel'Koz, Morgana with Spell Shields, Thresh with the Flays. Can be a very good peel comp. But look what we're seeing level 1. This is the classic Odyssey that we know and love. It's an invade. It's smoke and key against Phaser and Thrasher. Phaser going to be forced to use this splash. This 2v2 goes the way of Ape all day long. Phaser should be able to get safely underneath this tower, but now Smoke is in an awkward position, but Phaser is too far forward. That's a solo kill. And that's the first blood for the Olaf. Gets that extra 400 gold bounty there from that first blood. Guilty Free Soul now trying to fight this one through. You can take shelter underneath this tier 1 tower, and the blue buff won't be taken. So a kill will go the way of Ape, but the buff won't be taken from either jungler yet.
Yeah, kill actually goes back over to Sky Splitters. I think Smoke ended up dying to minions on the wave.
It was turret.
Oh,
I didn't see that wave of minions there, so I have no idea what happened there, but Phaser got the kill, and it did go through, and you can already see Kyo with this Caitlyn and the Caitlyn Thresh already at that level 2. Just the amount of pressure that they can push up here, and just a lot more just poke in their kits than the Victor at the moment, at least. I mean, in the up and coming levels, it should get a little bit easier just to clear this wave and stop that push from coming through. But this level 2, also from Phaser, could get a lot of damage done against this Olaf in this early game.
Yeah, and it's a great lane for Caitlyn Thresh. And Thresh and Caitlyn can be very deadly. As I'm going to hold my breath here, we're seeing more fighting in the top side. But Smoke gets pulled underneath the tower, but it actually wasn't him that got aggroed there. It was just a minion. I thought that tower shot was going to finish him off. Not going to be the case. But the Thresh Caitlyn is a very powerful lane. If a death sentence lands, you can combine it with the Yordle Snap Trap for a lot of damage. Damage that is capable of killing someone from 100% HP. And Victor, as a champion who isn't so strong in the early game, isn't going to quite like all this pressure that's going to be applied his way. So we'll see what Ronnie World and Kyo, especially mentioning that this is his best champion, what they can get done down here in the bot side. And it looks like on the top side of the map, Key is going to grab his first mark here for free in this top river.
Pretty slow start to the game. For bot lane specifically, you just play off of slow pushes, playing hard engage into hard engage. So if your Sky Splitters here, you let this wave push back, and then you just play bounces. And then whenever the wave's on your side, your support looks. If it's on their side, you just try to crush it.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. You can see that's kind of what Killshot is looking for, but it seems that it's a bit of a difficult task, especially this early into the game. The Morg was and spotted out by a ward in that tri-bush, so everybody should just be chilling for the time being. Nobody wanting to get too aggressive. The waves are just now approaching into the lane, so it's nothing too crazy happening for everybody. This Vel'Koz is having a little bit of a more difficult time farming against that Hui, but that's kind of to be expected. With the different spells of the champions, and yeah, I mean, everything so far quite similar to the first game. Is just once we get into the laning phase, once everything gets settled, is pretty just chill.
Phaser having a really good time in this top lane so far. Bought the plated steel caps now. It's a good buy. Was changed a little bit on the new patch, but still will be equally as effective against an auto attacker like Olaf. Has a small CS advantage. I want to note, as we see a death sentence landing, the trap wasn't placed though to land through the death sentence, so they're not going to be able to combo that, and the trade will be a little less favorable because of that for Sky Splitters, but they are able to get some damage. You get a little bit of a preview as to what that combo should look like. The death sentence should pull the Victor into the trap. But even right now, CS even in the bot lane. So despite the pressure that's being applied by Ronnie World and Kyo, and Killshot doing a pretty good job of being able to work through that and still get his last hits.
Yeah, and Teleport used bot for Killshot as well. He's able to just cheese his recall whenever.
This
and then
could be a
just
solo
get
kill,
bit from
though.
CS.
Hold on a second. Phaser doesn't have flash. This is certainly going to be the kill. The pullback, will it be enough? That last axe has to come through. It's just going to be an auto attack instead. That's going to be a solo kill in top lane. Smoke continuing the dominance, but it's going to be traded back because Thrasher has made an impact in the mid lane, and that will grab them a kill, and they may just turn their attention towards the first Drake of the game, which is the Mountain Drake.
They should. It should just be a free Drake for them. They do see that bot lane over there, but they just should not be able to pressure this whatsoever. Or at least not at the moment. We see 4 members here. It's going over towards them. The Nautilus is kind of starting to path up, but I feel like that's a bad idea. You see 2 members, you should probably just be getting out. Maybe wanting to say hello, but a steal unlikely to come through. And that's going to be the first Drake given over to Sky Splitters, and their early game is looking ever so stronger.
Hold on a second. Key, though. Oh my goodness. Gonna
Flash
get
ult.
punished really hard here. Phaser just used the flash to get Key into the death realm. Now, what can this Kindred do without flash to get out of this situation? The mid laner is here to try and bail him out, but look at who's here for this play. It's Keo. It's Guilty Free
everyone's
Soul
here.
all over the place. They want this free kill. It's Thrasher of all people that's going to waltz his way into the river to pick up that freebie. But now it's Ronnie World that is under pressure beneath this turret, is completely out of mana. Do they look for a dive? They could if they wanted to. They're posturing for it. I'm looking at the mini-map right now. Keep your eyes there. How is the Nautilus going to proceed? But we have to look at what's on our screen right now because Phaser, once again, doesn't have access to the Death Realm, does have a good chunk of HP, might be able to get out of this one, but maybe not. Oh my goodness, it was a tiny axe! Smoke with the misplay, and it ends up being a 1-for-1. A critical mistake, and Phaser is going to be wiping the sweat off of his brow and saying, thank goodness.
Again, top lane. The kills all going over to Smoke, but just a little bit of a CS gap for Phaser. It's keeping this lane very even between the two, and we can just see here, both of them, evenly matched at this point in the game. It's going to be exciting to see how this top lane does pan out over time, especially as his Olaf gets stronger, and so does the Mordekaiser.
I'm not too sure how worth that 1-for-1 is for Smoke. It could be bad depending on the wave. It's hard to see at the moment. It is a 10 CS lead for Phaser at the moment, so just about 5 more and he's basically even.
The death sentence lands. Guilty Free Soul going to use the Disintegrator and is going to do exactly that to the Nautilus, who didn't have flash. While we were panned away at a different lane, I saw the Nautilus come through on the minimap, and he used flash to try and hit Guilty Free Soul, but it was just simply a clean sidestep from the Vel'Koz. And now that Nautilus is in that unfortunate position, didn't have the flash, really great roam from Keo, continuing to find success here outside of lane on this Thresh pick.
Yeah, Keo is playing so well this series so far. Just acting as basically, this is just top tier support play. Acting as a facilitator for his team. Exactly what he needs to do.
Kizak, though, trying to find a solo kill of his own, cosplaying his top laner with all those solo kills, but not quite going to find it. Also, that is a good question I'm seeing in the chat. How does Vel'Koz actually step? But we have better things to focus on because Keo doing his thing down here lands the death sentence onto Key, who can use the Lamb's Respite to keep himself alive for the moment. The Chaos Storm is doing a lot here for Killshot to try and turn this play around, and Key is going to drop first, but Keo is going to be next to follow. But look at the damage that the Caitlyn's putting onto people! That trap was insane! The ace in the hole! Oh my gosh, Ronnie World! Excellent stuff from the lady with the shotgun, or the sniper rifle rather, not a shotgun. He's not playing Graves, but oh my goodness, that Caitlyn play was incredible. Excellent layering of the CC. This comp from Sky Splitters working in their favor.
Yeah, and that play right there exactly shows why Caitlyn is so strong on this patch as well. The damage output and the traps allowing you just to buy so much space in the fight. Lamb's Respite was popped. Everybody was sending it, but guess what? Your health bars don't matter after the headshots go through.
Put Smoke into the Death Realm. This is a tale that we keep seeing happen. It's the 1v1 between these two bloodthirsty top laners, but we're interrupted because Key's in trouble. No Lamb's Respite available. There's the Disintegrator, and Guilty Free Soul will turn the enemy jungler into particles of dust for his information, just like Vel'Koz does. Sky Splitters are on a roll right now. This is almost like a flipped game from game number 1. They're just going to hope they don't lose this lead now heading into the mid game.
as long as they just keep their lead, they look confident, they're taking good fights. And as long as they keep that up, they don't misplay, they should be in a very good scenario. We see Phaser getting that plate in that top side, so just being able to farm out a good push in between, and just look at the CS lead also going so big, but a gank in
another roam, flays Kizak backwards, trying to do enough damage to kill the Vel'Koz, but doesn't quite have it. There's the death sentence to land, and Thrasher's here for the insurance. They are just working so well together as a team. Another kill added, their 10th of the game.
It's seeming every time we see Thrasher, we also just see Keo, or the other way around. They just both show up. Their communication and what they want to do is so perfect. I'm not too sure who's calling these plays, but it's looking so nice between these two.
Looking really good for Sky Splitters. And onto Grubs goes Thrasher. Ronnie World is 2 versus 1 for the moment. But this is what's great about playing against a lane like a Victor lane that you can leave your ADC alone in, because there isn't a ton of power early on. They do have a Nautilus which dives well, but there hasn't been much capitalization here for Killshot and Revenger with the time that Ronnie World has spent alone. And Keo has been able to get advantages for Sky Splitters elsewhere. Right now, the Dragon's being taken. They have priority, does Ape, and they're going to be able to deny the second Drake most likely, unless some miracle steal can come through from a Vel'Koz, from a skill shot from down the range. Kizak is getting melted by the beam. Guilty Free Soul doing his Bolulu impression here with this Vel'Koz, looking LCS level, and there they are for the cleanup. They lose the Drake, but Sky Splitters cannot do much wrong in this game. I'll try not to caster curse them. Key is on the run. It's a level 7 Kindred, looking so weak in this game, getting run away by the Goth Lady. And back to the tower he goes, but Guilty Free Soul wants more. This is one bloodthirsty octopus looking for all the smoke in this game, but he's not playing. He is not smoke, but he's looking for the smoke. Here comes a teleport. Can they find anything else? Ape will not. And Sky Splitters just untouchable here in game 2 of the grand final.
It's just all looking up Sky Splitters. Every single play, they're getting so much value through it. Yeah, they gave up that Drake, but just the engage after it was so nice. You can see Killshot just trying to fish for some damage onto Keo, but just a bit too quick on the Thresh. And they should just be in a very good position to set up for these later fights, especially we are seeing Riptail pop up here. And it completely slipped my mind, but we do see 6 scrubs over to Sky Splitters as well, and that's going to let Phaser split push so nicely as we get deeper into this game.
Phaser heavy trading onto smoke, and wow, okay, Ragnarok is popped. We're going to see the 1v1 happen again. Phaser forced to use flash to buy some space, but the follow flash comes through for smoke. He wants to finish off this kill. Is the shield available? Finally steals the stats away. Wow, oh my gosh. Like 10 HP separates these two. They've been at it all series long, and here's Kizak with the lasers, going to try and survive this one. Keo,
that hook was incredible.
A hook when he's mid-air, it's like a World Star highlight reel right now. This is absolutely insane. Sky Splitters find themselves another one, another 2 with the solo kill. My goodness, all over the map, they're finding success, and they are ready to break it wide open.
What did I say about Keo's Thresh? What did I say? Magic will happen. Step in the flash, magic will happen.
I mean,
that was incredible.
He looks so good on the Thresh. I mean, what are you gonna do? Playing Kindred, you gotta be aggressive, you gotta get in there, but you're just positioning yourself into the Thresh. You can't even, like, have LOS at the Thresh. You just gotta somehow deal damage from a distance, but even then, it's so difficult. Their composition isn't built around that. It's built around getting in, and this is just could be a very rough scenario. We've seen the one-shots from this Caitlyn on this patch, but not enough damage in the items yet, but I mean, you just saw that was half the damage right there from Fog of War.
Yeah, so far ahead. Everyone's ahead. Look at the scoreboard right now. 5-0 for Thrasher, 4-0 for Guilty Free Soul, 3 kills on Phaser, 2-0 for Ronnie World. This is a very definitive lead. 1 kill per minute is the pace that Sky Splitters have set for themselves right now. Look at Thrasher's positioning on the minimap. He is just chilling in their jungle, and they haven't even taken the mid tower yet. That is how in control of this game they are, but we've seen this before. A play around the mid tower. Remember from last game, hook lands. Will they make the same mistake? Not going to follow through is Keo. They're playing it a little bit safer. 3 people underneath this tower. Again, same situation for Ape that Sky Splitters was in last game. Hold on to this mid tower for dear life. When this mid tower falls, you are in for a world of hurt because there is so much easy access to your jungle from Sky Splitters, and they are going to run you over. They have to do their very best to keep this tower alive for as long as possible to find something to bring them back into this game.
They need something. They need a big fight to come up here. We're seeing the dragon up in about 50 seconds. I mean, maybe if they can turn that, but it's too risky to... I feel like bet your entire game on a single Chemtech Drake. But, I mean, waiting for longer, it's also risky, you know? You gotta just figure out what your team wants to do, get a good setup, and try to win a couple of these fights. But who's gonna be the one to do that? I don't think anybody is strong enough for Ape at the moment to, you know, carry that fight, except maybe the Olaf, but even then, it's looking rough.
Yeah, it's super rough, and as soon as the mid tower falls for Ape, I think the game kind of just crumbles.
Kill shot. Walked out of that one. Phaser now in another 1v1 against Smoke. Not even going to talk about how this has happened multiple times, but this time, the Viking in the top lane will pick up the solo kill. What does this mean for Ape? Not a whole lot. It just means a little bit of gold in your Olaf's pocket. There's still full control of the river right now as Keo and Guilty Free Soul have found themselves potential prey here in the bot lane. The ultimate comes through, but the Lantern is there to bring Guilty Free Soul to safety. Drake number 2 for Sky Splitters. Really, for them, it's just... Oh, actually, this could be a solo kill now. Ronnie World, just so aggressive, knows there's no flash on that Victor, and makes the play happen. But meanwhile, in the top side, we see an invasion happening here. Although Phaser is still dead from that previous solo kill. Try and take down that mid tower, though, if you're Sky Splitters. That's the goal.
I mean, Ape is picking plays across the map. They're getting some value, you know, slowly but surely. They got the mark, I guess, on the Gromp, which is good. And that's really bad that their mid turret died, and that opens up the entire map for them. And then, like, this is Morgana being so aggressive onto that tier 2, and just... Yeah, I mean, Ape is getting some value, but Sky Splitters is just taking it right back and then some.
Yeah, I think this game gets really hard for Ape at this point. They just managed to take 2 towers. They took the first tower, and then they used the Herald charge into the second. I don't think it was a Herald bug. It didn't seem like it.
Why did it die so fast?
Yeah, I'm not too sure if the Herald bar was bugged there. They might have done the Herald bug on it. Which, if you start the Herald charge, and then you charge it into another tower, well, when the first tower dies, then you just do double the damage. I don't think it was there.
I think I did see it did half, which is about what you should expect.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think it's a Herald bug. But it did die pretty fast. So I think this game gets really hard for Ape. I'm not too sure how you come back. I think you wait for objective, and then you try to siege mid as best as possible, because the more control you get in the middle of the map, the better. And then you sort of offside your opponents with them taking the objective, and then you kind of just have to pray to God that you don't die.
Yes, praying to God is about maybe not your only option. There are, like you said, Delta, trades are good as long as the trades aren't your TSM Classic Baron for Nexus style trades. You will be in a good position. When you're behind, if you're taking even trades, that is definitely going to be worth it for you. But the question is, can they find those? Right now, Key is about to reveal himself bot lane, and there is a blue ping onto the Kindred. They might just move to the Baron right now, but Phaser is fighting with Smoke in the Death Realm. Under the tower he goes, going to take 1 tower shot, pop the shield, tank a few more hits, absolutely slamming Smoke in the moment, forces the flash. Yes, it's the solo kill. It's just back and forth, but it's actually going to be a 1-for-1. It's actually a good situation for Smoke. This is what I mean. If you get a 1-for-1 right now when you're Ape and you're this far behind, you'll take it.
Yeah, it's gotta take what you can get, and especially that is looking pretty good for you, but there's 2 members in that bush. Make it 3 here soon, and Revenger, you're gonna need to watch out. You're really
Revenger
gonna need to
walking
watch
into 3
out.
people. This is a dark binding into infinite CC, but Keo, my goodness, was that ever gorgeous, forcing the Lamb's Respite from Key and probably going to drop right here, right now. Double kill for your AD carry. The next death sentence will miss, but this is most definitely Baron screaming through the heads of Sky Splitters right now, and that's what they'll be saying. That's where they're going for. Phaser commits the TP, and they should get this for free since Key is dead.
Baron for free, getting a TP top out of Phaser, and that top pressure is just continuing to come through. That's really the main thing that Phaser is bringing towards this team. You can see the rotate back now, but it's just so rough. Ape has no time to breathe. They're constantly getting pressured at all facets of the map. And, I mean, we were trying to come up with a conclusion on how they can come back into this map, but they're taking fights even before the objective starts, or they would like to take it. It's just such a difficult position, and I think you're just slowly going to bleed out and eventually lose this map unless a miracle comes through.
Smoke pops Ghost,
Seems
looking
like
for this time a 2v1. And Killshot, though, gets sent into the Death Realm. This is a level 11 Victor to a level 14 Behemoth of a Mordekaiser. We knew that kill was going to come through, but can Phaser pull it off for the 2 versus 1? My inclination is no. His health is dropping very low, doesn't have the CDR to bring that shield back. But still, 1 for 1 in the 2 versus 1. Not bad there for Phaser. Dragon is coming up in about 18 seconds, and I'm sure that Sky Splitters are looking to take this one right now and then continue the siege with their Baron.
Yeah, I think fighting those dragons kind of hard. Just because of the Baron, you can't really get prio mid-bot at all. And I think this is sort of the major objective.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Kizak was saying, all right, this is my turn to apply the spells to you. And then Guilty Free Soul said, get the hell out of my face, forcing the flash. And that is a statement combo there from the Vel'Koz.
Yeah, and as I was saying, I think this was sort of the last major objective that you're able to trade, because now it's Soul Point, with Sky Splitters being able to take the dragon. So you take the top tower, that's about as best as you can get. Ideally, you're supposed to take mid, but you can't do it through the Baron.
Can't do it. Thrasher getting super aggressive now. Goes right on to Killshot. The ace in the hole will help out as well, and that will be the first kill of this skirmish. Revenger is next. Keo drops the box to slow him down. The death sentence will not land. Guilty Free Soul and Kizak are fighting, all the meanwhile in the bot side of the map. The trades are even for the moment. Both of them are sitting at roughly 40% HP. This tier 2 turret is going down, but here comes the flank, and Kizak burned the flash earlier. Keo smells blood in the water, and there's the disintegrating ray, and that will be the kill. Although Thrash is going to drop to the Ignite. Keo now forces the flash to try and get away. Could this be a monumental throw? Once again, don't do it, Sky Splitters. Oh my goodness, they're going to find the kill that they need. That's the first shutdown. It goes the way of the Kindred. Unfortunately, Ronnie World with the 90 caliber 90 kind of way.
Oh, the headshot!
The headshot is insane! Ronnie World is unleashed and pushes them right back and says, we are not making the same mistake as you are. I will carry my team this time.
I think it's safe to say Caitlyn is kind of online. She has 2 items. She's going to reset. And she's going to look to build towards what looks to be LDR. And Phaser's going to be pushing top.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfectly played by Sky Splitters on that. They're just able to cut it out.
They're looking so nice here. It just seems that every play that they're doing, Ape is trying to read into it, but it just does not go their way. We saw Phaser just not care about what was going on bot lane, not care about the dragon, just wanting to focus on this top lane, and finally making it through that tier 2, and now that pressure is really just starting to mount. You need to have smoke positioned up there. Nobody else can deal with this Mordekaiser, but that's so much of your damage, that's so much of your pressure. And like, especially like killing those carries of that Caitlyn, it's just very difficult for everybody else on this Ape team to do so. And I mean, you can just see they're slowly bleeding these lanes. It's a disaster for them.
The next step for Sky Splitters is to crack open this base. There's 2.5 minutes on the next Baron, 2.5 minutes also on their Soul. They could even do as much as to trade Baron for Soul, but we have to talk about the invade right now. Lem's respite keeps Key alive for the moment, but Thrasher may have gone too far forward. He's going to drop and trade 1-for-1, but now it's going to be Keo to die as well. Phaser's teleported in. For the moment, it's a 3-versus-1, but make it a 1-versus-1 because into the Death Realm will go. I believe it's Revenger in there, but Ronnie will step too far forward. 1K bounty goes the way of Olaf. It's a triple kill. Could potentially be a quadra, but look at the disintegrating ray. My gosh, Guilty Free Soul says no to the comeback play. That is 4 dead. All the meanwhile, Kizak split pushing on the bot side. Oh my goodness, playing with my heart right now. Is it a throw? Is it a winning team fight? This is back and forth.
There's no way to know until the fight's over. And Phaser is just so strong, being able to tank for so long. And you can see Kizak just trying to get some value bot lane, but while Phaser's going, you're gonna absolutely open up your base. And this is just gonna make your entire game harder. Focusing on mid is your main priority, and it has been for a while, but it just has not gone your way. The tier 1 for Sky Splitters is still up, it's still there, it's even got a bounty on it. It's looking real nice to get, but there's just no way of doing it. Ape can't get through.
Can't get through, and it's so close for Ape to find those critical team fights that they need to turn this game around, but it's just slipping away from them every single time with a miracle play. First time from Ronnie World, second time from Guilty Free Soul. These carry champions that these two are playing are coming in clutch for the squad at the moment. They're looking to try and find a kill onto Key before this Drake spawns, and they're not quite going to get it. There's still 45 seconds left, so Key should have enough time to reset and come back for this objective to contest it. But against a composition that Sky Splitters have drafted, Morgana with the Dark Bindings, Vel'Koz with all his skill shots, Caitlyn with her traps, her ace in the hole. Now we see a 1v1 topside. It's just so hard to enter that pit is what I was saying, but now the 1v1 will dissipate. Kizak flashing forward, trying to get 1-for-1, but there's the Seraph Shield, not going to be able to kill Guilty Free Soul. It's a 1-for-0, and this should mean Soul will be that much easier to grab for Sky Splitters. And I don't know what the play is right now for Ape. They could go and try and trade for Baron, or they could try and find this fight, but they don't really have the numbers. Smoke doesn't have TP. Here comes Key to try and find some type of flank angle, but Ronnie will spot him out. Headshot.
Oh, that's all the health gone.
Damage, my gosh, this Caitlyn is so fed.
That's all the health gone. You see the headshot charged up. Ronnie just walks up, taps Key. You know his health bar is just gonna go bye-bye.
So nice, and we can see the objectives finally coming up. This dragon's gonna go down. They're going to get this soul, and then they're probably just gonna immediately rotate up to that Baron while Phaser's trying to pressure this base. And I mean, just passively doing so. And Killshot is only level 14. Ronnie World is level 16. There's is it almost like a level up on each for each player compared to Ape? It's looking extremely rough, and I do think they know this game is over. They have to go for something absolutely miraculous, but Key's dead. You can really not pressure this Baron. They have so much utility to just keep you out of here, and that main piece of utility is just going to be Phaser.
And I just noticed this now, as this Baron will go Sky Splitter's way. No one's in the area for Ape to grab it and go for a steal. But 75% of the kills from Ape are on Smoke. Everyone else is completely broke, is now Phaser, I would say, is in a difficult position, but into the Death Realm goes Key, who's fortunately able to use the Lamb's Respite before and through, but the Decimating Smash over the wall will grab the kill. Guilty Free Soul trying to run away from the Olaf. It just puts him in the dirt with the ultimate. Phaser on the backside winning all by his lonesome. Kizak and Killshot, the last two to be alive, but they are not long for this world, running for their lives, trying to stall as much as possible to save their game, but I don't think it's going to be possible. Phaser's going to walk around the gravity well, and that will be it. Thrasher's here for the flank. Phaser grabs the kill. The inhibitor is going to fall, and the Nexus turrets will be under siege, and Kizak is in a 1-versus-5 scenario to save, or 1-versus-4 scenario to save the game, and I don't think he has what it takes to save Ape in this game number 2. There's the death sentence. There's the kill. It's wraps.
The base is going down. Everything is coming out. We see Key is back up, but what are you really realistically gonna do? The Nexus explodes. Sky Splitters take their second game and continue their dominance in this series.
Yeah, absolute dominant fashion in this game. And frankly, if you're Ape heading into this third game, I'm not too sure what you do. Like you pulled out a lot of your comfort picks at this point. It's gonna be pretty hard to come back. So you have to have a lot of mental fortitude heading into this last game and just bounce back the best you can. Because you gotta
Exactly.
win 3 games in a row. If you don't, the road ends here.
The road will end. The reverse sweep is mandatory now for Ape after this Game 2 win for Sky Splitters, and one that is in dominant fashion. It feels like they took that momentum from Game 1 and just absolutely ran with it. It's a good point, Delta. They need immense mental fortitude to bring out this reverse sweep. They need to tap in to anything left that they have in their power to bring themselves some wins. They need to dig deep. They have to focus up for this next game, and we will be bringing you that next game after a very short break. So in a moment's notice, we'll be back with game number 3. Can Ape start to build the momentum for that reverse sweep, or will Sky Splitters put them to bed in a upsetting 3-0 finish to our grand final? Find out in a moment when we're right back. And we are back for what could be our final match of this grand final. After game number 1, after that insane comeback from Sky Splitters, I was thinking we were in for many grueling matches between these two teams. And to be fair, despite the stomp from Sky Splitters in game 2, it still was more or less an absolute grudge match between our two top teams in the league. But backs against the wall is Ape for game number 3. A reverse sweep must happen for them to still earn that gold that they have been searching for all season long. Will they be able to do it in this game? We are going to find out. Delta, what are we thinking right now if we're Ape draft-wise? What are we changing up, if anything?
Bans are already shown, and all the bans are actually just around the bot lane. We see draft adjustments for Caitlyn Thresh so far, which are really good. Taking away the Caitlyn, like, you saw them first pick it last game. Like, they're willing to play it again. I guess the real question is, how do you change your style? Because comfort didn't work. And I think there is a potential answer of cook the ever-loving hell out of this draft and play some wild stuff that Sky Splitters have not prepared for. If you can take them out of their preparation, take them out of their theory, it could work. It could work, and I think this might be the game to do it. If you lose, you didn't have much momentum heading into it. If you win, you had all the momentum heading forward. So, we're gonna see if they're gonna cook or they're just gonna stick to what they know.
and immediately just opening up with this misfortune, which is interesting to say the least. I mean, we've seen it work in the past, but
not a pick I really expected for the most part. She did get a lot of benefit from the crit admin changes, but I think a lot of players still opt to go lethality in this current meta. Ape responding with the volley bear. I think this is also partially a takeaway as well.
Oh, and the Zeri pick is
Zeri.
Very concerning. And my concern
Is this key Zeri?
is
this could be key Zeri. Actually, they could do a few roll swaps here.
Oh, can they? Is that allowed in the set of rules?
Yes, they could
yes,
do some
it
roll
is.
swaps
Ooh.
here. Are they sending Killshot jungle?
I don't know. I'm not aware.
Really weird, but that could be key Zeri. That is something to take note of in the draft.
Okay, so Delta has made it known that there could be potential switch ups in the rules here, but I'll go back to my initial concern when Zeri was locked in. She is a low range champion, and Misfortune punishes low range champions, at least in lane phase, very well with her double up ability, which can bounce through the minions. It can be very hard as a low range champion like Zeri, like Kaisa, to deal with a champion like Misfortune. And regardless of what she builds, whether it's crit, whether it's lethality, the main power of this pick is that bullet time, and can you apply the right amount of CC and get the right amount of people locked up for that bullet time to get it to be your win condition? That is the question for Sky Splitters. They've drafted Ivern, they've drafted Maokai. The response here on R3 for Ape is Milio, headed into the second round of bans.
Oh, it's the Asher Ivern. It's one of his staple picks. And I think going with that, I think you're actually kind of forced to lock Maokai. Otherwise, you have no way to really lock down Zeri. The only issue here is, like, how do you deal with Milio? You press W and then Milio presses R, and congrats, Zeri moves freely. So I think that might become a bit of an issue later in the game if you don't have enough CC to go through the Milio R. But you still have 2 more picks. So I think you should be able to deal with that regardless.
yeah, and Ape is very scared of the. I mean, obviously the Mordekaiser, but the Zeri just keeps throwing me off. I mean, I guess mid lane hasn't really been a problem for them in a majority of these games, but it's interesting to see how much they value that presence. And the Aesol comes through, which I know we were talking about it. Yeah, wild stuff out of Ape. And this entire draft, in my mind, has been absolutely unnerving to look at.
They're going to run it back with the Aesol and look at
matchup.
Sky Splitters. Exact same thing. They're running it back with the Kog'Maw. They're picking the Jax for their last pick. They're going to round out their composition there, and they have quite a nice team fighting squad with great frontline, great shields from Ivern. They have that Enchanter jungle. They have long range damage with Kog'Maw, and they have great team fighting applications with the Misfortune. The last pick here for Ape, the counter pick, the reason they've been choosing this red side is gonna be the Ornn into the Jax. So this is really putting all the eggs in the Zeri Aesol basket. They are playing full for scaling in this game. No early game whatsoever. But if they can reach that point, a Zeri late game, an Aesol late game, ornaments on those carries, Milio scaling, an insane late game team Ape has drafted. Although the concern for me is they got slammed in the early game last time around. They have to prevent that from happening again, because if it happens again, they are going to struggle like no other comp would struggle against early pressure.
Yeah, I think itemization is also going to be really important heading into this game as well. Ivern shields get really annoying later in the game. So it's going to be really important that you get Serpent's Fang.
So many
Ideally,
swaps for
Milio
Ape.
actually gets it.
So many swaps. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, what are these swaps? Okay, it's Killshot top. It's Smoke actually swapping over to jungle, which is his off role, as far as I'm aware. And it's key, as I called, on the Zeri.
I mean, well, they have done some roster moves in the middle of a series. They said, you're going here, we're changing it all up. We are blowing it up as much as one team could possibly do it, unless they did a 5-person role swap. But 3 people in different roles. The only 2 people to stay are Revenger and Kizak. They're digging in deep. You said yourself, Delta, they need to cook something crazy. Well, I think this is something that warrants that word, which is they've cooked. They have cooked for this draft, but the question is it going to work out? Is it going to be enough? And again, I'll reiterate, my main concern is the early game, and Sky Splitters are on a hot streak. If they drop the ball early on, I think this is going to spiral into a hot DoorDash 3-0.
Yeah. I'm really excited to watch this bot lane here. Kizuri was one of the premier promo events back when Zuri was at her absolute peak. It's fallen a bit under the radar, mainly because Ki has been playing a jungle in recent seasons. And I think he even played mid one season as well. But he's back on the Zeri. I still think he's got it. I believe in him.
Yeah, I mean, Xerius isn't really super strong or like oppressive in the current meta, so I'm curious again. Just you were reiterating the early game, and that's a big concern for me as well, especially with this Melia who's not incredibly strong early. So I mean, I'm just excited to see what's going on, and if FaZe are doing quick work of kill shot in this top lane at the moment.
Yep. They are playing with confidence in this top lane, getting that early priority. And Thrasher is on the same side as well. Guilty Free Soul, look at the minimap. Drop the ward there that's going to spot out Smoke. So early information on the jungle right now for Sky Splitters is going to put the solo laners in a comfortable position right now. More trading in the top side. I have a feeling a solo kill could happen soon. The Searing Charge will knock up Phaser. Does have flash available. Will he have to use it? Going to drop a trade through. But there's the flash forward. Oh, kill shot so close, but not able to grab the kill.
It's just like 4, 5 more damage there, and Phaser goes down, but staying alive till at least a couple more minutes, and you know, being able to TP into the back lane, both these top laners having TP, so it should just be pretty easy as this lane is going to crash, and they should just meet each other next. And some items are being bought up there, but I don't think it's enough to sway this top matchup too much quite yet.
Nope, it's not going to be, well, yeah, it's a flash burn for both of them, so they have that even trade there, but Phaser is now getting ganked, and Smoke is here. Smoke is ready to get that first winning play for Ape in this game. The kill will go to Kill Shot, and that is first blood for Ape. Could be traded back soon because Guilty Free Soul is looking for the solo kill. Air gets it, of all things. My gosh, that was so close. And just as Ape tries to get something for themselves, Sky Splitters get it right back.
I mean, it does a little bit of an advantage just based off the gold you get for the first blood and the pressure that you might have gotten top lane. But yeah, I mean, it is traded right back, but take a look at that Volley Bear. Guilty Free Soul, and you need to be pretty safe for the time being, and yeah, the Volley Bear falling back off, but spot lane fight.
Oh, the Key is pretty healthy, uses the dash to get over the wall. Ignite was dropped by Keo, who's frontlining quite nicely. And that will just be, well, that one summoner spell burned, but Guilty Free Soul, remember, no flash, and Smoke will use the flash of his own. This should be the kill here, and Kizak will get his trade. And that is another winning play for Ape. They're able to grab up that kill in the mid lane, and they do not want this to be a 3-0. They are still fighting in this series.
Yeah, really good transition gank from Smoke. He's able to path to his bot camps, and Dragon is spawning within 30 seconds.
Yeah, and the pressure is favoring Ape at the moment in the bot lane. I mean, both of these ADCs are quite low. Ronnie World having no mana. It's a bit rough, and it does seem this Volibear is pathing bot, maybe going to try and take this dragon, but I mean, it's just such a dangerous position that I wouldn't blame him for not doing it.
I'm trying to channel that recall, but being canceled by Guilty Free Soul moving from the mid lane there. Going to delay that reset timer from Smoke, and is actually just going to head all the way back towards his Gromp to channel that back. But there won't be any neutral objectives taken while that Volibear is missing, Thrasher's just going to continue to keep power farming, although he is still behind 3 CS here. Keeping up with this Volibear and just trying to maybe get to that point where he has Daisy to summon it up and look for some ganks here. As top lane, we're just seeing this. The camera is just panned to top lane because these guys are trading nonstop. But that's been the theme of this top lane all series long. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's a different players this time, but still, FaZe continuing that tradition with a different person of just absolute bloodshed up here nonstop, regardless of the champions.
And FaZe are just getting that level 6, playing very confident still, just having very little mana, not having a ward to jump to. It's very...
Here comes Keo onto Keeb, trying to look for the dash over the wall, gonna flash forward, buys himself some space. Thrasher's on the flank. Revenger has flash, going to use it, but the final auto attack from Ronnie will find the kill, and that is a kill earned for Sky Splitters. In the bot side, they get the push. They'll deny some XP off of Revenger. They could turn towards this Mountain Drake next.
It does seem like they're going for it. They're pinging it right here. That should be them getting this first Drake. And look topside, the grubs are being done by Smoke, so it should just be a neutral objective trade between these two. But, I mean, Phaser might need to look out here as the pathing here from Kizak.
Here comes the call, the Forge God. It hits. Phaser's no flash. The Skies descends, drops, but it's not going to be enough from Phaser to jump onto the dragon and is going to fall a pretty... I want to say a pretty greedy death, knowing that your team is elsewhere and that Acel was missing. Phaser locked in a little bit too hard in this lane phase, and it's going to drop for his second death of the game.
This Kog'Maw just being able to poke out this Acel quite well. I mean, we can see that this gap... There's a pretty even CS in the mid lane. Not really too much to worry about. Ooh, you gotta watch out there, though, Revenger.
No flash is just dead. Revenger wanted some vision, wanted to try and make that river a little brighter for the team, but in the end gets punished for it, and excellent stuff from Sky Splitters, applying the pressure, winning through their bot lane like they have been doing, and Phaser continuously getting punished. Both these teams identifying where they want to play for, and they're both finding successful plays. The Counter-Strike will come through. He'll stun up Smoke. He's going to try and get away from this one. Wow! Are you kidding me? The great escape! Smoke! The ultimate doesn't land! Oh, finally closes the gap. Wow, I thought Phaser did it there.
Yeah, the great escape almost happened there. Almost happened, but Stormbringer being able to secure the kill. And it's full topside control for Ape.
It is, but I mean, their bot side is struggling a little bit, as we saw that Dragon did go over, but I mean, overall, it is pretty even for them. They do have a little bit of a gold lead, not too much to really have concern about, and that back just getting off before Keek could get into that bush, so glad, I'm sure Sky Splitters is glad that happened, and I mean, it's looking a bit rough. Obviously, Smoke is positioning a lot over towards that top side, and we're seeing some scuffles here in bot, but yeah, I mean, Phaser just has to play, I think, a little bit more safe. I think he's disrespecting the top lane matchup because it's just gone in his way in both of those games, or at least a lot more even than this.
Yeah, Phaser needs to be a little bit more careful when his team is elsewhere, as okay, bullet time being channeled for tempo, and actually it almost kills Revenger. So I thought this ultimate was simply just to cancel backs, and maybe that's what Ronnie World intended, but Revenger's time is being wasted here, having to cancel the recall and walk all the way up the jungle to channel the recall again. So for a few moments, Key will be by himself in the lane. And now we see Invade on the minimap from Thrasher and Phaser. There's not a lot of things to get. There is a Raptor camp, and that's about it. Keo is here as well, but the Grubs, no, they're actually spawning quite soon. But now on my screen here, I was paying attention to the map, but Guilty Free Soul found another solo kill, and in the bot side, Ronnie World versus Key. Who's gonna get it out? It's going to be Key Zeri to find that one. And Keo missing from the bot lane won't be able to help out. His ADC, kill shot is now the next target, does have flash, should be okay in this situation, also has Searing Charge, probably won't have to use flash in the end. There's the Maokai ultimate, but the Bella's Breath will eliminate some of that crowd control. there's just really no play to have here. They're not going to force anything off of the Ornn. They're just setting up for the grubs right now. Guilty Free Soul. Okay, Smoke is actually potentially caught out here. Does have flash, uses the ultimate to try and finish off the Kog'Maw, but that last artillery barrage will finish it off, and that will be the pick onto the jungler here as now Ronnie World 2 versus 1. Ghosting onto Revenger is forced to use heal. There's action all over the map, but there's the super mega fireball kick to keep him safe. Guilty Free Soul very low. So much action across the map. It's a game 3 bang out. 5-5 the kill score, a slight gold lead for Ape.
Yeah, just action happening all around the map. Some's being blown left and right as well. It's kind of hard to tell who's really ahead at the moment. Ape has like a 500 gold lead at the moment. And I think... Oh, actually, both junglers are opting to go for opposite sides of the map. So Smoke is top side for the moment, probably looking to secure your grubs. And then Thrasher's actually pathing towards bot side, looking for Dragon. And I think Sky Splitters are probably just going to look to
1 versus
Dragon
1 once again. Guilty Free Soul is going to get taken out. Kizak just drifts and breathes his fire all over him. Has to burn the flash to get away from the passive. But that's a clean solo kill. Well done from Kizak.
It just feels like a repeat of game 1.
Ronnie World. Okay. That's going to be the dragon spawning soon. And 6 grubs critically weren't taken by Ape. They already had 3. The grubs are alive right now. But it seems like Smoke has decided that he's going to be on this bot side. They want to play for the Drake. They want to stop any chance of Sky Splitters getting an early soul. And right now, the vision's being cleared. They have priority. And they're going to start it up soon is what it looks like. They're dropping down their vision here. But in comes Keo and Ronnie World now to clear that vision away. So all that work that they fought for to get this river lit up, now with the priority that Sky Splitters have earned themselves, they're going to get right in, and they now have control. They're going to try and clear away this control ward. Tension is building around the dragon. And it should be started up here soon. Either a fight or the dragon. My goodness, Guilty Free Soul.
Oh my gosh, they're burning everything.
Does so much damage, and Smoke making some really unfortunate pathing. Ronnie World's going to grab the kill, and the fight will break out. Daisy's going to join the fray as well. The Sky's Descend will land, and Kizak is just going to drift right out of this one, and it should be Ocean Drake now for the Sky Splitters.
Yeah, Abe just trying to fight back on the vision that they lost. They're not actually able to do it. Sky Splitters team comp has just so much zone control. Like every single champion except for Jax just has zone control. You can't really walk into them. It's gonna be super hard for them to play these objectives later in the game. And I think that just might be the start of it.
And you can see Phaser just trying to get something in this top lane, but I mean, what really can you do against an Ornn on Jax? It's a very difficult position for you to be in. You just gotta try your darndest for every single one of those CS.
Oh
Zeri is getting active.
Oh my god, the flash forward.
And that's like a QSS, that's a QSS the ultimate coming through from Revenger to cleanse him there and try and get the kill. But it's both flashes burned, and now they're underneath the tower. I don't think there's anything else for this play. But very aggressive from Key, takes that double up. Keo has to be very careful, very low here. The grubs did despawn, so 6 grubs is no longer a possibility for Ape. They're going to have to play for the Rift Herald if they want a neutral objective right now.
It seems that might be what they're going for, but Smoke is trying to go see if they can get a gank on a Guilty Free Soul.
No flash, turns off the tower. That's a clean kill from both Kizak and Smoke in the mid lane.
Oh, a lot of damage there from the Kog'Maw passive, but not enough to take down Smoke. And very weak. You can see the Ivern trying to go and see if he can finish off that kill, but it's just not going to happen. And this is an Infernal Rift, so, I mean, you can get those Embers, you can boost up your CDR a little bit, so, I mean, spells are just going to be coming out left and right for all of these players.
In priority of the river for the moment, Sky Splitters. Here's Keo. for the gank top side, but Killshot is very tanky. Oh, it's actually Thrasher here as well. On the minimap, it only looks like Keo. There's a teleport flank from Ape. If Orin can stay alive for the moment, he will have reinforcements. Finally uses the flash, but Phaser will follow it up, and it's going to be a 1-for-1, but now the bot lane is here for Ape. They have everyone ready to go for this Herald play, and they're able to make it a 1-for-1, but Phaser is in no man's land right now in the enemy jungle, but should be able to get out with the recall because all that Ape cares about is this Rift Herald. But critically, they're losing their bot lane tier 1, and Guilty Free Soul is denying CS in mid.
A very weird 1-for-1, a lot invested there for Ape. And you got a kill, and then you got out, and you got that Rift Herald, but I mean, that's about it. I'm curious to see like where they would like to use this. We see this dragon up in about 2 minutes. It's a little bit after the... I mean, it's a little bit after the Rift Herald, but it's could despawn. It's just a very precarious situation for these.
And now there's no neutrals up for the moment. Mid tower should be the focus for Sky Splitters. They have priority of the river and of the jungle for the moment. They do feel like because a scaling team has been drafted, there is decent scaling with Ivern on Sky Splitter's side, but not to the same magnitude that is the Ape team composition. So they are stronger right now, and that's earning them the priority and the ability to walk into their jungle and drop down some wards, set up for the next dragon, which is spawning in a minute and a half. Remember, they have 2 drakes, so playing for Soul is something that will mitigate the losses when it comes to the later stage of the game and you lose out on some stats because they outscale you a bit. Well, actually going to be the Infernal Soul. That Infernal Soul will be really helpful. So that's what they're playing for at the moment. They're setting up the vision very early, minute in advance. And that's something that, you know what, it works, and something that you're going to be looking for if you are a part of the Sky Splitters team. If you're a Sky Splitters fan, this is something that should excite you. Fighting happening in the top side. Phaser and Killshot going at it, but this Jax is going to have Conqueror fully stacked. Does pop the ultimate. Call of the Forge God will knock him up. Does Killshot have the damage? But there's a Counter-Strike. Phaser with the solo kill.
And Phaser finally being able to win out these 1v1s against Killshot. It took everything, but in the end, I mean, you want it. You're going to get some pressure off top lane unless Smoke has something to say about it. But this Jax is finally starting to get online.
And look at the items. He's an item down. He's an item down and he still won that.
Oh, well.
Here's Smoke going to use the flash. 3 levels down, but it doesn't matter when the Jax is out of mana and out of HP. And that's a kill, but that's the jungler on the top side of the map. 13 seconds until this Drake spawns. Keo has been spotted by the sweeper ward. And now the Sky Splitters are going to swarm this objective and look to take it before Ape has any chance of a response play. And that will put them on Soul Point if they can acquire it. Keo getting aggressive onto Revenger, who does have flash, but the bullet time is too much. Doesn't even use the summoner spell. I think that's a wise choice. You would have probably died anyways. Holds onto it, drops valiantly, and this will be Soul Point now for Sky Splitters. Unless a miracle can happen, Killshot has made the trip down here, didn't use the teleport, but it looks like they are going to concede this. So in 5 minutes time, they have to try and find a way to pull it together as a team, because if they can't contest the next one, they are in big trouble in this game.
Yeah, and all that just started off the solo kill that Phaser got. Yeah, sure, like, the Smoke gets the kill afterwards, but now he's offside. Like, you can't send him to 2 places at once. Like, he can't be there at the Dragon and also be able to kill the Jax at the same time. So Sky Splitter is able to use that, setting up deep vision, getting the pick on Revenger, and they're just able to pick up the Dragon off of that.
And that Dragon is absolutely massive. And it sets them up for a really good position, especially when the next one comes up. It forces Ape to have to take that fight, or else they're just in a very rough situation. This mid tower is going to go down, and that's just going to be more pressure here.
Phaser's going to be soaking this pressure too. This is really good for Sky Splitters. Absorbing pressure is something that can lead your team to taking things elsewhere on the map with their numbers advantage. So this gank attempt from Smoke isn't getting a whole lot, and then Phaser's just going to go right back to dominance here. Like you said, Delta, when he had that solo kill, he didn't even have the Bork completed. Now he does. So a item down, he was winning these 1v1s. Now he's really going to have control of the top lane, and his team should be comfortable enough to fight 4 versus 4. And here we go. Keo flashes onto Kizak, who doesn't have flash. Key is looking for a flank angle, but Ronnie Roll just sends him to the dirt, and Guilty Free Soul will barf on his face and get that first kill of the fight. Killshot trying to tank up for the team, and Smoke is running away from the Jax, who's teleported in. That's both top laners joining the fight. The shields from Thrasher are going to keep Ronnie World alive. Killshot doesn't have the damage to take out 3 people. Phaser gets the kill on Smoke. Ladies and gentlemen, the control of the game is all Sky Splitters, and they head to Baron.
Baron to go down, their pressure is still mounting. Or, I mean, is it down, or are they dealing with this tier 2 mid? I feel like they're not knowing what to do. They don't know what decision to make, and it seems they're going for this tier 2. At least they're getting some value off of that massive team fight win. But maybe it could have been a little bit more. I guess they weren't confident in how fast they could do it. But yeah, I mean, they should still be going down. They should be getting something, but you got to get out of there. Don't overstay your welcome. Don't overstay your timings, and, you know, get out of there. Keep your momentum going.
Yeah, I think they opt to go for the tier 2 there because they don't really want to commit the teleports at the moment. Guilty was splitting bot. He had teleport up. I think they just didn't want to commit that and save it for another play, so they opt to go for the tier 2 instead.
That's a good gold injection for them, and they still have control over the river, so can still play for the Baron. It's not like because they decided not to do it, that opportunity is gone for good. They can still get it later on if they find another winning fight, which, given the trajectory of this game, is bound to happen again if they play it correctly. Continue to push in these waves, continue to clear vision around the objective from the other team, and then make your a pounce on them in the jungle or counter gank like they could do here, as Phaser is going to be caught. For the moment, we can see right now on the minimap, there is Smoke waiting for the right opportunity to strike. He decides that now is going to be the time. Here comes the call of the Forge God, but the Nature's Grasp will run true and find a route onto 2 people. Guilty Free Soul now with the Artillery Barrage joining in from the other side of the wall. Look at this Kog'Maw! Just deleting them from a whole screen away, and Sky Splitters now will be able to get the purple worm for sure.
Yeah,
On the other side of the wall? I've never heard of a Kog'Maw flank before, but they're just gonna convert that into Baron. I was gonna talk about the team comp identity and how, with all the zone control you have on Sky Splitters, if you want to just do the Baron in front of their face, you can. Turns out you just get the 2 kills. You kill the jungler, and you get it anyways.
They got 2 turrets mid though for Ape, which is pretty good. But I mean, for a Baron, it's not really what you want to see, and 56 minutes until this Infernal trade comes up, and I think, depending on how that goes, it might just be the end of the game, but I like to see the pressure being mounted and being built in this bot side jungle from Ape. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult for Sky Splitters to get in and to get around this Baron pit, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. You can see they're backing. It's hot.
Yeah, this game gets a lot harder now having to fight through the Baron waves. Your waves clear is not great on Ape. You have Asol who's able to press E on it and then clear it afterwards, but your E also does reduce damage to it, so I'm not too sure how well that's gonna work. You're obviously not gonna pop Zeri ult on the wave unless it's like at your base. So we're gonna see. They're gonna have to push really hard right before Sky Splitters are able to sit on the waves.
Well, here's Thrasher. Daisy is getting involved. 1 versus 5, saying, I'm going to tank up for my team and start this fight off for them. Killshot takes about 40% of his HP, but the real person who's suffering right now is Smoke. 5 versus 4. Now look at the bullet time. Forcing flashes from Killshot.
Skies
but
descend.
It's an excellent Skies Descend. It's now a 1-for-1. And look at the Zeri opening up in the backside. Guilty Free Soul finishes off that kill. All the meanwhile, Phaser is split pushing in the top side, but what an outplay from Guilty! That was crazy! And Phaser will march on into the base. Inhibitor is dropped. We could have a base race for ourselves. Revenger's channeling that back, but it's only going to be Revenger there for the moment. Teleport's being channeled. They want to end the game
teleport
right
back
here, right now. They have the minions to do it. The damage is still good. They got to try and end the game. Nexus is here. This is your championship. All down to Kizak and Smoke to try and save the game, but Guilty for Soul sitting the Nexus. Can they do it in time? One more auto attack. It's going to work. And Sky Splitters are your Odyssey Split 1 Season 1 champions.
What an end to the game right there. Phaser just opting to go for the back door as well. Kizak held his teleport. He thought he could get the recall off in time. I think if he teleports there, he's able to hold it.
Yeah, or at least for a little bit longer, especially so the teammates get back. That's just more pressure at your base, but it doesn't matter now. Sky Splitters taking the third game and completing the entire sweep of the series. 3-0. I mean, congratulations to all of these players. Absolutely phenomenal games that we saw today. And I mean, they deserve it. They looked so good in each and every one of those games, even playing from behind. They took their leads in strides and, ran so far with them. Congratulations to all of these players. And I mean, I'm excited to see what else becomes of this league and all of these players.
And what an exciting season this was. What an exciting end to that game. I'm damn near losing my voice with how very close these fights are. This ending is. That was like... It doesn't get much better than that for an ending. I thought for a split second Guilty wasn't going to finish off the Nexus and we were going to have a 1 HP Nexus and Ape was going to stay in it. But I mean, you guys said it. Kudos to Sky Splitters. What a dominant grand final it was outside of that game 1, which did look in Ape's favor at the very beginning. But they showed that not only could they dominate their opponents from the start to finish, but they also could bounce back from being down so much and still pulling out a win from games that didn't look winnable. Sky Splitters were dominant all year long. They only lost 2 games in the round robin. They plowed through the playoffs. They dominated the grand final. This team is truly deserving of the trophy and of the title of champions. And with just in hindsight, with everything that we've seen in this league this season, what an incredible season it was. What an incredible finish to the season. Could have hoped for more games, but the games were entertaining in themselves, and Sky Splitters are your champions, and congratulations to them as we close out.
Very well played, the Sky Splitters. Extremely well played from Ape. Everyone here, I mean, that's been supporting us as the casters, and just, everyone in the community has been so awesome in supporting us each and every single week. So, I mean, shout out to all of you. You have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Delta, for joining us on the cast. I mean, and thank you, Drewbird, for putting this all together, being able to have these great overlays and have these amazing games. So, I mean, I'm very thankful for all of this, and I mean, I'm excited for what else there is to be seen.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, regardless, as your special guest for the TriCast. And, I mean, massive congratulations to all the members of Sky Splitters. Every member winning their first regular season, except for Thrasher. Thrasher winning his second regular season, and continuing his reign of dominance, his dynasty. We are still in the Thrasher era of Odyssey.
Absolutely. Still in the Thrasher era. Sky Splitters are champions. Claire, you said it best. Thank you to everyone who is watching week in and week out. Thank you so much to Drewbert, who is putting on the production for us. So we had a very smooth stream, always refining new things, adding the chat into the stream so we could talk a little bit with all of you watching, creating the system so that we could have the drafts, even though it's pre-recorded and the picks slowly made their way to the caster's eyes. Drewbert was such an important part of having this season being so successful and so great. So thank you so much to Drewbert. Thank you so much. I'm just reiterating what Claire said. To all of you who are watching, for supporting us casters. Thank you so much to Delta for coming in for this amazing TriCast for the grand final. And that is going to wrap it all up for you guys. So we'll be very excited to bring you more League of Legends in the future. For now, we say goodbye for the moment, but it won't be forever. We'll be back. We'll be better than ever, and I'm very excited to continue with everyone. So for now, we'll be signing off. Congratulations to Sky Splitters, and we will see you very soon for more action in the future. Thank you so much.